Yes, sir.
I'm Dr. Bansal. Can you hear me?
Sir.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? I'm Dr.
Yes, sir.
Bansal. Hello.
Sir, we can hear
Yes, sir,
you.
we can hear you.
Okay. So I'll start with the lecture. Today's lecture is about hypersensitivity. The other word for this hypersensitivity is allergy, right? We know allergy that some individuals are allergic to egg protein, some individuals are allergic to pollen, some individuals are allergic to something which is can get might be something coming in touch with the skin. So ingestion might be inhalants, might be something like that. So this is called as allergy commonly, right? So we usually do not say it as a hypersensitivity thing. But hypersensitivity and allergy are the same terms. They are synonyms, right? So we'll see what is this hypersensitivity. So what is definition for hypersensitivity? Definition of hypersensitivity is injurious consequences in the sensitized host following contact with specific antigen. So if you see the definition properly, there is injury in the host, right? So injurious consequences there in the sensitized host. What do you understand by sensitized host means what? That particular individual has been exposed to that particular antigen somewhere before in life. And when will be the symptoms of hypersensitivity developing or the injury developing? Following contact with the same antigen again, specific antigen again, right? So it might be a specific antigen or might be a related antigen sometimes, right? So there are two times the person is getting exposed. First time he is getting exposed, there are no symptoms. Second time, the antigen is going again inside the body, the person develops his symptoms of hypersensitivity. That's why it's called as injurious consequences, right? So when an antigen goes inside the body, there is an immune response, right? Immune response, which is beneficial, right? It gives protection to an individual, which we call as immunity, right? But sometimes some antigens, which we call as allergens, they have got the property. So there are allergens identified in the universe, right? So these things, when they go inside the body, they result in injury. That is the difference between immunity and hypersensitivity. Both will be having an immune response, that is for sure. One is giving protection, the other is causing injury. So deals with injurious aspect of heightened and exaggerated immune response leading to tissue damage, disease, or even death. So it might be fatal. So the immune response in hypersensitivity can be fatal, and it is an exaggerated immune response, right? So it is not a mild type of response, it is an exaggerated immune response. So what is must for hypersensitive? Must for hypersensitivity is contact with the antigen, which is called as allergen. So this is the first time if it is going inside the body, such a dose of the allergen is called as sensitizing dose or the priming dose. And then there is induction of antibody mediated immune response or the cell mediated immune response. So the first time antigen going inside, it is what? A sensitizing dose. And it will result in the formation of an antibody mediated immune response in the individual, or there might be a cell mediated immune response in the individual. Now, next time, after a few days, might be or hours, might be the same antigen goes inside the body. There will be what? The symptoms of hypersensitivity. And this dose, the second time the body and allergen going inside, this particular dose is called as the shocking dose, and there will be symptoms of hypersensitivity. So, with all hypersensitivity reaction, except there are some exceptions, except a few, there is a sensitizing dose and there is a shocking dose. And what is and for every species there is an organ involved, which is called as a shock organ, which is called as a shock organ. That is the main organ where the symptoms of hypersensitivity, or it might be the organ which will be involved and will be fatal for that individual. So what is classification of hypersensitivity? Classification of hypersensitivity is depending on the time or symptoms to develop after the allergen goes inside. It is classified into immediate hypersensitivity and delayed hypersensitivity. Immediate hypersensitivity is what? Anaphylaxis and atopy. These are two similar types of their basis. The immunological basis of anaphylaxis and atopy is the same. The second example of immediate hypersensitivity is antibody-mediated cell cytotoxicity, or it is also called as cytolytic type of hypersensitivity. The third type is what? Is Arthus phenomena and serum sickness. Now these two are again similar, right? And they are called as immune complex type of diseases. Now these are all I have told you is what is immediate hypersensitivity. And immediate hypersensitivity is always antibody-mediated type of hypersensitivity reaction. Antibodies are the things which will cause the hypersensitivity. Now the second type is what? Is delayed hypersensitivity. Immediate hypersensitivity is seen might be in minutes to hours, right? Minutes to hours. Delayed hypersensitivity is usually seen in days, hours to days. So it is slightly longer for the symptoms to appear. That's why they are called as delayed hypersensitivity. Examples of delayed hypersensitivity is what? Infection, tuberculin type. Right? So if a person is having tuberculosis, you do the Mantoux test, right? That Mantoux test is an example of infection tuberculin type, and there is contact dermatitis type. These two are examples of delayed type of hypersensitivity reaction. If you see this particular table, right? On the left, there is what? Type 1 hypersensitivity, type 2, type 3, and type 4 hypersensitivity reactions. Right? Now, what is type 1 hypersensitivity? It is called as IgE mediated hypersensitivity, or IgE type of hypersensitivity reaction, because the predominant antibody is what? IgE is the predominant antibody. And what are the types? Clinical syndrome is what? Is anaphylaxis and atopy. Is anaphylaxis and atopy, right? Time required is minutes. What are the mediators? It is the IgE antibody, and there is the mast cells or basophils which release histamine and other pharmacological agents. The next type is type 2 is cytolytic or cytotoxic type, which is called as antibody-mediated cell cytotoxicity also. Right? So there is thrombocytopenia or granulocytosis, there is hemolytic anemias. Time required is variable, hours to days. And what are the mediators? Again, it is IgG, IgM, and there is complement, right? And there are macrophages, there are neutrophils, which are the mediators. Then comes the type 3 type of hypersensitivity reaction, right? Which is called as immune complex type of disease. Now, there are two things in this. Clinical syndrome is what? In this immune complex, it is Arthus reaction and serum sickness. Serum sickness, right? Time required for symptoms is variable, hours to days. And mediators are the same as for type 2 hypersensitivity. That is IgG, IgM, complement, leukocytes, macrophages. Then comes the type 4 type of hypersensitivity, that is called as delayed hypersensitivity. So you always remember immediate is what? Type 1, type 2, and type 3. Delayed is what? Type 4 type of hypersensitivity. In which the clinical syndromes are what? Tuberculin type and contact dermatitis. Time required is hours to days, right? And what are the mediators? Now there are no lymphocytes. Sorry, there are no antibodies involved. In the first three, type 1, type 2, type 3, there were antibodies involved. Here, no antibodies. What is involved is T lymphocytes. T cells are involved. And substances called as interleukins, chemokines, lymphokines secreted by T cells, macrophages are the main things which are involved, which are the mediators of type 4 type of hypersensitivity reactions. Are you getting? Are you still listening? Can you listen to me? Hello? Can you listen to me?
Yes,
Are
sir.
you getting me? Yes, Archita. Okay,
Yes, sir,
okay,
you're
I'll
audible.
continue. So type in altogether 4 types of hypersensitivity reaction. 1, 2, 3 are antibody mediated, and type 4, right, which is called as DTH, that is delayed type hypersensitivity. DTH, right? It is cell mediated type of hypersensitivity reaction. So what are the differences between immediate type and delayed type of hypersensitivity reactions? Immediate type appears and recedes rapidly, whereas delayed appears slowly but lasts longer. Induced by immediate type, induced by antigen oblique haptens. Haptens are what? Incomplete antigens by any route. What is delayed? Delayed is induced by infection, injection of antigen oblique hapten intradermally or with fruits adjuvant or by skin contact. So the route is what? Intradermal, skin contact, or along with fruits adjuvant, right? Right, it is going. Whereas immediate by any route. Now the next is what? Circulating antibodies present and the responsible for the reaction. Delayed circulating antibodies may be present but not responsible for the reaction. Mainly it is cell-mediated type of reaction. Again, what is the difference between immediate? Immediate is what? Passive transfer possible with cell. So particular individual is sensitive, right? Is hypersensitive to penicillin. And if we transfer the serum from this individual to an individual who is not, the individual receiving that serum will develop hypersensitivity to penicillin. So passive transfer of immediate hypersensitivity is possible by transferring serum from one individual to the other. Delayed, not possible with transfer of serum, but it is possible by transfer of an extract of T lymphocyte called as transfer factor. Excuse me. So it is possible by transfer of an extract of T lymphocytes called as transfer factor. Desensitization. So if a person is sensitive, he is given smaller doses of that particular antigen and desensitized. That is cure for the hypersensitivity. Desensitization in case of immediate hypersensitivity is easy, but it is short-lived. In case of delayed hypersensitivity, desensitization is difficult, but it is long-lasting. Right? So you should know differences between immediate type and delayed type of hypersensitivity reactions. Now we'll see the first type, important from an exam point of view, right? Type 1 hypersensitivity reaction, which is called as IgE mediated hypersensitivity reaction. Now, what are the examples of type 1 reaction? What is the syndrome? It is called as anaphylaxis, or it is second is what is atopy. Anaphylaxis is the fatal form of type 1 hypersensitivity reaction, whereas atopy is what is the milder form, which is not fatal. So if we say a person is sensitive to his what? Egg protein, he develops his symptoms of diarrhea, or he develops his what? Abdominal pain. A person is having urticarial rash, he's having puffiness of the face, he's having conjunctivitis. These symptoms because of might be inhalant, might be ingested, or something coming in contact with that person right, develops is what? Mild type of symptoms which are not fatal. That particular thing is called as atone. What is anaphylaxis? We'll see now. Anaphylaxis is what? Is the classical immediate type of reaction, right? So classical type of hypersensitivity, as per definition, sensitizing dose and shocking dose is there, right? So this is a classical example of hypersensitive reaction is what is anaphylaxis. What does the literal word anaphylaxis mean? Ana is without, phylaxis is protection. Without protection is the meaning of the word anaphylaxis. No, anaphylaxis is most effective when antigens. Anaphylaxis, I'll tell you, is by any route, may occur by any route, but most effective when the allergen goes inside or the antigen is introduced parenterally. May occur by any exposure, by any route. Minute quantities are enough for a person to develop anaphylaxis. So very small quantities going inside the body can develop is fatal anaphylaxis. An interval of 2 to 3 weeks needed between the sensitizing and the shocking dose. Once sensitized, the person remains sensitized for very long time. Years together, the person may develop sensitization to that particular antigen. Shocking dose, again, most effective when given intravenous, then intrapenetrant, then subcutaneous, and then intradermally, right? But most effective intravenously. Now the shocking antigen, the antigen going inside must be same or similar to the sensitizing antigen. So similar type of antigen can also cause anaphylaxis, but it should be same specific antigen will definitely cause the anaphylaxis. So these are some characteristics of anaphylaxis. This may occur within minutes of exposure to the antigen, and it is fatal type of disease, right? Fatal type of thing which is happening in that individual. What happens in anaphylaxis? IgE type of antibody is produced. Antigen combines with IgE antibody bound to mast cell and basophil. And once this antigen combines with IgE antibody on the surface of mast cells and basophils, there is causes of degranulation. This causes is what? Degranulation of mast cells and basophils and the release of several mediators such as histamine, prostaglandin, leukotrienes, eosinophil chemotactic factor A, neutrophil chemotactic factor. So these are released from the mast cells and basophils, which are the mediators of anaphylaxis. And this can be fatal. There is massive fall in blood pressure falls and can be fatal in minutes. So I'll describe you again once happens. Now there are two doses. One is called as the priming or the sensitizing dose. Once the allergen goes inside the body, right, that is the priming dose. When it goes first inside, there is an immune response. Now this particular antigen going inside is no ordinary antigen. It is an allergen. So there is formation of IgG antibody, IgM antibody, but mainly large quantities of IgE antibody is produced. This IgE antibody produced in large quantities goes and gets attached to mast cells and basophils in the blood or in the tissue by their Fc fragment, leaving the FAB fragment free. Now, this is what is happening. This is what is happening during the sensitizing dose, and there are no symptoms in the individual. Right? So what is there? IgE antibody is being produced and it has got attached by the Fc fragment on the mast cells. Now, after a gap of 2 to 3 weeks, which is important, the same allergen or antigen goes inside the body. It goes and get attached in between two adjacent antibodies on the surface of mast cells and basophils. and there is bridging of gap between the two antibodies. There is influx of what? Calcium ions, and there is degranulation of mast cells, releasing histamine and other mediators of anaphylaxis. What are these mediators? We'll see in the later slides, but this is the basis, right, or the pathogenesis of anaphylaxis. So during the shocking dose, the antigen goes there, and there is degranulation of mast cells and basophils, releasing the mediators of anaphylaxis. So you can see is what? Allergen going inside. There is production of antibodies. IgE antibodies present on the mast cell. The second time the allergen going inside, and there is degranulation of mast cells, in which there is, and these mast cells granules, or which are called as mediators, primary mediators and secondary mediators of anaphylaxis, right? Causes is what? Smooth muscle contraction. They act on blood vessel, causing vasodilatation of blood vessels. They affect the mucous gland secretions. They affect the platelets. They affect the nerves. They affect the pain threshold, and they have got activity on what? Neutrophils, eosinophils. They can have activity on that also. These are called as mediators of anaphylaxis. So what are the symptoms of anaphylaxis? In humans, the symptoms will differ in species. In dogs, it will be different. In horses, it will be different. In frogs, it will be different. In human beings, it starts with itching of the scalp and the tuck. There is flushing of the skin. There is difficulty in breathing. Choking sensation is there, because the shock organ in human beings is the lungs. There is nausea. There is vomiting. There is diarrhea. There is hypotension, loss of consciousness, and death. These are the symptoms which are seen in human beings. Causes are what? Is antibiotics. So penicillin was a drug which was known to cause as anaphylaxis. Nowadays, if you also you can see nowadays also penicillin is used in rare situation, or in situations only where it is a must, right? So nowadays, number of other antibiotics are there. Penicillin is used very rarely if it is essential to use it, right? So antibiotics, not only penicillin, other antibiotics can also cause anaphylaxis. Then foreign serum therapy, that is anti-diphtheric serum, anti-tetanus serum. These serums raised in horses would cause anaphylaxis. Now nowadays these are also less used, so this is less because of use of heterologous foreign serum, right? But it can be seen because of antibiotics and insect stings, right? So variety of insect stings can cause anaphylaxis. So honeybee stings can cause anaphylaxis. Treatment and life saving is what? Adrenaline, right? Which is given subcutaneously or intradermally. Intradermally is what? Is drug of choice or life saving for a person who is having anaphylaxis. Adrenaline, right? Now, what is cutaneous anaphylaxis? Say, for example, a person has to be given penicillin, right? And we don't know whether he is sensitive to penicillin or not. We want to check whether he may develop anaphylaxis. But we give a small dose intradermally. A very small dose of the drug is given intradermally. If the person is sensitive to penicillin and will develop anaphylaxis, chances are there will be a reaction which is called as local wheal and flare reaction, right? So there will be reddening at the site with induration or edema at the site, which is called as wheal and flare reaction is seen. So if a person develops a vein and flare reaction, it indicates that the person cannot receive that particular drug or penicillin, right? So that is called as cutaneous anaphylaxis, used for testing of hypersensitivity, identification of allergen for atopy. So if person here has to be known to which particular thing he is having atopy type of thing, such cutaneous anaphylaxis is given in small doses. And such a small dose can also cause is what? Fatal anaphylaxis in the individual. So always keep adrenaline near you whenever you are testing a person for cutaneous anaphylaxis. So what are the mediators of anaphylaxis? Primary mediators of anaphylaxis are what? Histamine. So most important mediator of anaphylaxis is what? Is histamine. What does the histamine do? Is most important vasoactive amine of human anaphylaxis from what is it formed from? It is histine found in granules, right? So it is coming out from is what? It is a primary mediator. Immediately released once the antigen is gone, shocking dose is got, it gets attached to antibodies, there is degranulation and histamine is released. Released into the skin, it causes is what? Burning and itching. It causes vasodilatation and hyperemia by an axon reflex, which is the flare effect seen in cutaneous anaphylaxis, and edema in the individual by increasing capillary permeability, which is called as the wheel effect. Right? So it is doing is what? Something like is what? Inflammation. It induces, plus it induces smooth muscle contraction of diverse tissues and organs, and it stimulates secretions. It affects the nerves, causing the pain, right? Causing pain also, right? So burning and itching effect, edema, smooth muscle contraction, right? In diverse tissues such as the lungs, it causes small muscle contraction, resulting in difficulty in breathing, and it causes excessive secretions by the mucosa, right? It stimulates secretions, right? This is caused by histamine. Then there is serotonin, right? Which also causes smooth muscle contraction and increased vascular permeability, but its role in human beings is not confirmed. Right, so it may not be important, right? But right, so what is important is histamine. Then there is a factor which is called as chemotactic factors. The first of it between eosinophil chemotactic factor is which is released from mast cell granules and strongly chemotactic for eosinophils, and it accounts for high eosinophilia count in many hypersensitivity reactions. Right? So eosinophil count is raised, right, in case of anaphylaxis. Then there is a factor which is again similar to ECFA, is NCF, which is neutrophil chemotactic factor, which attracts neutrophils at the site of the, where the antigen has entered the body, and it causes is what? Destruction there. So these are the main factors, right, which cause anaphylaxis. The second type of factors which are secondary mediator of anaphylaxis, which are prostaglandins and leukotrienes. The earlier factors, that is ECA or neutrophil chemotactic factor or eosinophil chemotactic factor, they were called as primary mediators of anaphylaxis. They were preformed contents of basophils and this thing, and they were released immediately. Now these prostaglandins and leukotrienes, they are secondary mediators of anaphylaxis because they are formed inside the mast cells of basophils after there is a cycle formed. Cycle means what? Like a Krebs cycle. Like in biochemistry, you've seen a cycle like Krebs cycle, right? So similar type of cycle is there which takes place inside the mast cell, and there is formation of these prostaglandins and leukotrienes, which are mediators of anaphylaxis, secondary mediators. So they are derived from arachidonic acid, formed from destruction of mast cell membrane and leukocytes. Now there are two pathways taking place. The first pathway is called as, they are from arachidonic acid. The first pathway is lipoxygenase pathway, which results in the forms of the leukotrienes, and there is a second pathway which is called as cyclooxygenase pathway, which results in the formation of prostaglandins and thromboxanes. These two pathways forms leukotrienes, prostaglandins and thromboxanes. Now there is one substance which are called as SRSA, which is called as slow reacting substance of anaphylaxis, and which belongs to the family of leukotrienes. So this particular thing causes slow but sustained contraction of the smooth muscles inside the body. So that's why it is called as smooth SRS. Smooth and relaxed, and relaxed, sustained contraction of the smooth muscles of the body, right? It's why that's what it is called a slow reacting substance of anaphylaxis. SRSA belongs to a family of leukotrienes. Now, what is prostaglandins and thromboxanes? They are bronchoconstrictors. They affect secretions of the mucous glands. They affect platelet adhesion, permeability. They increase vascular permeability, dilatation of capillaries, and they affect the pain thresholds. So if you see the histamine, if you see SRSA, if you see prostaglandins and thromboxanes, right, they have similar type of properties or biological effects, right, similar type of things, and they are called as primary mediators and secondary mediators of anaphylaxis. So you should know what are the primary mediators and secondary mediators of anaphylaxis and the mechanism of anaphylaxis. Then there is a platelet activating factor, which is a low molecular weight lipid released from basophil, causes aggregation of platelets and releasing their vasoactivity. And there are complement components which also take part, right? Complement components are also taking part in the anaphylaxis, right? So there is complement fixation and taking part in the, their complement components are also activated and they take part in anaphylaxis reaction. Now we'll see what is type 2 reaction, which is called as cytolytic, cytotoxic, or cell stimulator. I'll tell you here what type 2 reaction is: cytolytic or cytotoxic. That is the second recent classification. And cell stimulatory is nowadays considered as type 5 type of reaction, which is called as cell stimulatory type of reaction. In earlier books, in earlier days, type 2 reaction included both stimulatory as well as cytotoxic type of reaction. Now, type 5 reaction is called as cell stimulatory type of reaction. Now, what is type 2 reaction? Again, antibodies are there in this type of reaction, right? It is immediate type, antibodies are there. What antibody is there? It is IgG, but rarely IgM antibodies also. It what happens in type 2? It involves the reaction of IgG, rarely IgM, and the antigen determinant on the surface of cells inside the body. So this type of reaction is also sometimes called as autoimmune type of disease. Autoimmune type of disease. In further chapter where there is autoimmune diseases, there is a separate lecture for it. You will find that something which I am going to explain about type 2 is already there in autoimmune type of reaction. So some doctors will call it as an hypersensitivity type of reaction. Some doctors will say is what clinicians will say is an autoimmune type of disease. So what is the antigen here? The antigen is particulate antigen is here, right? Where is the antigen present? It is present on the surface of the cell. It is present on the surface of the cell, on its own, or might be it is some drugs, or because of infection, or drugs, usually drugs which have deposited on our cells inside the body, making these cells something new to our own immune system. So our immune system identifies this antigen present on our own cells as something foreign, initiates an immune response. The immune response is there, antibodies are produced, and there is destruction of our own body cells. So that's why it is called as cytotoxic or cytolytic type of immune response, or it is called as autoimmune type of disease. So what are examples of this type of reaction? Is autoimmune anemias. Then there is blood transfusion reaction because of incompatible blood received by an individual, is an example of type 2 reaction. Hemolytic disease of the newborn because incompatibility between mother and the fetus blood, RH incompatibility is there, resulting in the death of the fetus, right? Is hemolytic disease of the newborn is an example of type 2 reaction. Autoimmune anemias, drug-induced autoimmune anemias is not because of drugs. Drug-induced hemolytic anemias, drug-induced thrombocytopenia purpura, drug-induced agranulocytosis, such as leukopenia, right? Drug-induced leukopenia, right, is an example. So these are examples of what? Type 2 type of hypersensitivity reactions. So new antigens our own body is getting. These are identified as foreign by the immune system. There is an immune response, and there is destruction of the cells inside the body. Now, why there is destruction of the cells inside the body? Now, these cells are coated with the antigen, and there is an immune response because our body immune system identifies these cells, our own body cells coated with the antigens, as something new. They produce antibodies against the surface coated antigens. Antibodies IgG usually or IgM gets attached on the surface of this antigen. And what will happen? Antigen antibody reaction is there. So complement gets attached to the Fc fragment of the antibody, and the complement cascade is triggered. And there are substances or the fragments of the complement which are released. Some fragments get attached. I told you in the lecture for the complement, some fragments get attached to the complement pathway, and there are some fragments which are smaller are released. And these fragments released are responsible for something which is called as opsonization, which is nothing but complement mediated damage of the cells, right? So opsonization because of antibodies is there. Then there is what? Inflammatory reactions released, induced because of the small complement factors. So this inflammatory reaction, right? Inflammatory reaction, there is attraction of what? Neutrophils, natural killer cells, eosinophils, macrophages at that particular site. They are attracted. This is called as chemotaxis because of complement components. And these complement components, these particular cells, eosinophil, neutrophils, macrophages, natural killer cells, have receptors for complement components. So they will come there and get attached to the complement components. They will release their granules, peroxidases, lysosomal contents will be released by these things, and they will cause destruction of the cell. And lastly, there will be what? Complement mediated lysis, because ultimately complement cascade will end in the formation of membrane attack complex, which will cause is the formation of what? Holes inside the cells. What cells? Might be RBCs, might be platelets, might be leukocytes, right? And they will be lysed. So it is what? It is antibody mediated cytotoxicity is also one more thing, which is in the form of natural killer cells will come there. They will release the contents and they will also release contents in the form of things which are called as perforins, which will cause holes similar to the hole produced by membrane attack complex of the complex. And there will be lysis of the cell. So ultimately what is there? There is antibody mediated lysis either through the complement or through the natural killer cell. The cell will be lysed, right? Causing anemias, causes thrombocytopenia purpura, causing is what? Different type of lysis in the inducible and autoimmune diseases. This is type 2 type of hypersensitivity reaction where the antigen was particulate. The antigen was what? Particulate. Now we'll see what is type 3 hypersensitivity reaction, which is called as immune complex type of reaction. So again, what is here? There is IgG, there is IgM, there is complement. Now, what is the nature of the antigen? Antigen is soluble here. So antigen being soluble here, it is freely circulating in the blood and the body fluids. There is an immune response against this particular soluble antigen. There is formation of antigen-antibody complex still in the fluid. When the antigen is in the fluid, it forms in the complex. And this soluble antigen gets deposited on the host tissue. It might be glomeruli, kidney glomeruli, or might be internal lining of the blood vessel, or inside the organs, it will get deposited. Once this antigen-antibody complex is deposited on the surface of the host cell, there is activation of complement. Again, inflammatory cells will be there. Inflammatory cells will destroy the host cells, causing is what? Damage to the host cell, and this is the pathogenesis. So antigen-antibody complexes getting deposited on the host cell, triggering the complement pathway, resulting in inflammatory response, increasing vascular permeability, and there is formation of what? There is accumulation of what? Inflammatory cells surrounding at that site, and there is destruction of the host cell. This is called as immune complex type of disease. This is called as immune complex type of disease. And occurs when there is slightly high antigen or antibody is present inside the body. So it occurs either in antigen excess, whenever there is antigen excess, and whenever there is antibody excess inside the body, might be in disease, or when the person is given anti-diphtheric serum, anti-tetanus serum, anti-gas gangrene serum, right? He is given antibodies in large quantities. There is an immune complex form. Such a thing is called as serum sickness, right? Serum sickness. Or it might be seen in the form of glomerulonephritis, in which there is inflammation of kidneys because of deposition of complexes on the glomeruli and destruction of the glomerular basement membrane. So if you can see this picture, there is deposition. If you're on the left hand side, there is deposition of the immune complex on the basement membrane of the blood vessels. So endothelial lining is there. There is deposition of the complex. There is the complement coming, getting attached to the FC fragment, triggering of the cascade. The neutrophils are coming there, and they are releasing the liposomal content of the neutrophils on the right hand side. And on the right hand side, you can see is what the necrosis or the inflammatory destruction of the basement membrane of the blood vessels. This is usually what happens in serum sickness when the person gets is what high quantities of antibodies. So what is basically happening in immune complex diseases? Immune complexes are getting deposited on the tissue or the endothelial linings. They get activating the complement, and slowly this complex gets enlarged and it is removed by the phagocytic cells such as macrophages will come there and relieve, and they will cause engulfment of this large complex and remove the antigen from the body. So usually this disease is self-limiting, and after a few days the person feels better, right? Once this complex is removed from the body, there is the symptoms subside and the person feels better. What is Arthur's reaction? Arthur's in 1903 found that when rabbits were immunized with normal horse serum in the repeated doses, after a few gaps, the rabbit was given horse serum. So this horse serum is foreign to the rabbits. It was nothing but normal horse serum. The initial doses were with subcutaneously, the rabbits were inoculated. The initial doses were without any reaction. But subsequent doses, there was development of what edema, induration, and hemorrhagic necrosis at the site of deposition, at the site where the injections were given. And this is nothing but the Arthur's phenomena, which is a localized type of type 3 reaction or immune complex type of reaction. So it is what Arthur's reaction is, what is a localized type of reaction, localized type of type 3 reaction. So is it seen, this particular reaction is seen in human beings in the form of disease? It is seen in the form of disease like Farmer's lung. What is this? And other hypersensitivity pneumonias following inhalation of antigen like actinomycetes. So what is this actinomycetes? These are thermophilic bacteria from mold, hay or grain which are ingest. This mold, grain or hay are contaminated with this thermophilic actinomycetes, and they inhale this particular antigen and they suffer from this farmer lungs, or there are some other type of pneumonitis seen in the individuals. Right? So this is localized type of type 3 reaction. Now there is another manifestation seen in the form of serum sickness. I told you whenever foreign serum is given to the individual, there is serum sickness, which is systemic form of type 3. Arthur's reaction, localized form. Type 3 reaction, systemic form of type 3 reaction, takes place when foreign serum is given. Might be anti-snake venom is also given, or hyperglobulins are given. You get this. What is the clinical manifestation? It is fever, lymphadenopathy, splenomegaly, arthritis, glomerulonephritis, endocarditis, vasculitis, urticarial rashes, abdominal pain, nausea, and vomiting. These are the same symptoms individually. I told you what is the pathogenesis, is formation of immune complexes. There is massive complement fixation, fall of complement levels, right? Disease is self-limited. Now this immune complexes because of immune serum therapy, I told you, but immune complexes occur in many bacterial diseases and viral diseases and parasitic diseases. Examples are what? Post-streptococcal glomerulonephritis, hepatitis B, malaria, also seen in disseminated malignancies and autoimmune diseases. Such type of immune complex type of disease is seen in such situations also. Now, what is type 4 hypersensitivity reaction? It involves reaction of sensitized T lymphocytes. No antibodies here. No antibodies here. Now again there is a contact priming dose and second contact, that is soft shocking dose. Why is delay? Because the antigen is first picked by migrating macrophages and T lymphocytes, and it is taken inside and it is presented to sensitized T lymphocytes. So this takes time, and that's why it is called, it takes time. So that's why delayed type of hypersensitivity. So provoked by specific antigen, involves lymphocytes and macrophages. Sensitized lymphocytes release pharmacological active substances which are called as lymphokines, which have biological effects on lymphocytes, macrophages, and tissue cells. So I'll tell you what is happening basically. Two types are there. One is called as examples of these types. Tuberculin type, that is nothing but the Mantoux test, or the tuberculin test, which is done to identify a person is suffering for tuberculosis now. Right? You know the test. And second is contact dermatitis. So we'll see the first test. What is tuberculin type? The pathogenesis is the same for both of them, with a slight difference. What is tuberculin type? In which intradermal inoculation of purified protein derivative from the cell of Mycobacterium tuberculosis is injected into the arm of the individual. And after 48 to 72 hours, there is development of erythema in an individual. If the person is having disease or he was exposed to tuberculosis earlier in the life, the second injection PPD we are giving, it acts as a shocking dose. So what happens is the person is having memory cells inside. So when you give PPD, these memory cells are activated. And the cell-mediated immune response is activated. So this antigen is taken first of all by cells taken up by cells in the skin, in the dermis, which are called as dendritic cells. They are similar to macrophages, and they are called as antigen presenting cells. These cells take the PPD, they capture the PPD, internalize the PPD, and they go deep inside and present it to T lymphocytes, along with MHC, that is major histocompatibility antigens. These are present to T lymphocyte. The T lymphocyte is the T helper cells are first presented. The T helper cells secrete interferon gamma, which is nothing but a lymphokine, interferon gamma, interleukin 2, which activate macrophages and other lymphocytes. Now, these activated T helper cells also release interleukin 5, interleukin 4, which activate other T lymphocytes, and which again release lymphocytes, and they also activate T helper cell. Activated T helper cell activity is CD8 cells, that is T8 lymphocyte. CD8 cells are activated. So all this is done. Basically what is happening is activation of macrophages is there, activation of CD8 cells which are cytotoxic cells, right? So macrophages come there and they cause destruction, that is erythema and induration. Cytotoxic CD8 cells travel to the subcutaneous tissue and the dermis. They release pharmacological activated cells or lymphokines and cytokines, which also cause necrosis at the site, right? So this is the thing which is happening in the dermis. Now this is the first example was tuberculin type. Second is contact dermatitis. Contact dermatitis is because of a thing which is an extract of cells which a person can come contact in the jungles, which is called as poison ivy. Or it might be substances such as dyes picryl chloride, might be metals, drugs, or might be toiletries which are present in the soap, or latex, or might be something which is present in the latex in the gloves and the condoms. Right? So it is from the plant which is poison ivy, or it is chemicals, non-living things which will cause this contact dermatitis. And what are the lesions? The lesions vary from macules, papules to vesicles, which subsequently break down, leaving weeping surfaces typical of acute eczematous dermatitis. Now, usually these substances are haptens, incomplete antigens. They come inside. We use that as toiletries, or the person comes in contact with these antigens. It is absorbed. These antigens are haptens. They are absorbed into the skin. They come in contact with cell proteins. Once in contact with the cell proteins, they become complete antigens. So on contact with cell proteins, they become complete antigens. And the same thing, similar to, is what tuberculin test starts, and there is destruction in the form of eczematous dermatitis. So this is what is blisters seen in what left on the right side. You can see is clearly the blisters of contact dermatitis. Okay, so I'll stop here. I told you everything about is a hypersensitivity test, right? So you basically concentrate on definition of hypersensitivity, differences between immediate and delayed hypersensitivity reaction, type 1 reaction, type 4 reaction, and in less is about type 3 and type 2 hypersensitivity. But definitely type 1 and type 4 is important from exam point of view. I'll stop with the lecture because there are other teachers waiting for the computer. Okay, thanks.